The whole fundamental problem with D2C space is it's very reactive. When you are adopting reactive approach instead of a proactive approach, you are already taking a hit on your sales.
India's e-commerce is obviously exploding. Already a $123 billion market, expected to be 400 billion. Quick commerce alone has added about 3.5 billion of GMV, growing massively, 65% CAGR.
Problem is very Indian because of how the population dynamics is, because of how the labor cost is.
Hi everyone, I'm Sanket from the Campus Funds investment team. Welcome back to the Campus Funds Founder Series, where we sit down with India's most exciting student-led startups. Today, we're speaking with Satvik, the founder of Dcluttr AI, a company building an AI co-pilot for growth teams in the quick commerce and the e-commerce space. These founders are straight out of Netaji Subhas Institute of Technology, who spotted a big gap in the way brands access and act on data. We'll unpack their story, the product, and where they're headed. Awesome. Hi, Satvik. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for doing this. It's great to know what you're building and what you're building with Dcluttr. Start off with your introduction. You've been a software engineer at Walmart, Global Tech, led growth at AccioJob, and even co-founded Superbrew before Dcluttr. Walk us through your journey, how these experiences have shaped the idea for what you're doing at Dcluttr.
Thank you, Sanket. Thanks a lot for having me here. So I'll start with my college days, just starting with me and my co-founder. We were batchmates and computer science undergrads from Netaji Subhas Institute of Technology. Graduated in 2022. During the 4 years of our college, within the first year, we were building out products. We were largely interested in building out products. We built a couple of products during our first year of college. And during the second year of our college, we incorporated our first company. It was called Supercrew. And there we worked with D2C brands to help them with growth marketing and tech services. So this largely gave us a lot of exposure as to how the real world business problem solving is working out. And this added a layer of experience and exposure in terms of contacts and how to handle business stakeholders, how these sales pitches are closed, and what problems are being faced by these businesses. So post that was during the end of a college tenure, which was around 2022. I joined Walmart and Ritvik joined Microsoft, and we were running Supercrew part-time during that period also. So the mindset and thought process at that time was to get the exposure of working at an MNC in tech companies and to see how processes are built, how things are being done internally. So we worked for around 1 year there. Post that period, I left my job at Walmart and joined a company called AccioJob, which is backed by Y Combinator. It's an edtech company as the head of growth and marketing. So there I led the team entire growth and marketing vertical. So it was a very brief period of time, but that gave me a lot of, exposure and learning into how these new age startups are working. And it was impressive. It's a 200-member team there. So got to learn and got inspired by the founders there, see how things are working out. And after 3 or 4 months of working at AccioJob, I left AccioJob and joined full-time running Supercrew. This was around graduated in 2022 and left AccioJob by 2023, mid of 2023. For next 1 to 1.5 years, Ritvik and I completely focused on scaling Supercrew. And we worked with 30 to 40 odd D2C brands, helped them scale exponentially. Most of them were either a Shark Tank brand or a celebrity owned brand. So we worked with Find Your Kicks India. It's at that time, it was India's largest sneaker reselling platform. We worked with brands, celebrities like Sunny Leone handled her entire house of brands. So we understood the ins and outs of how growth marketing and performance marketing and data driven decision making is done. And in this period, we got to become Google's official partners and premium partners. So it's top 1% of agencies get this tag. So essentially, we got to understand the nuances of growing a brand online. And during this time, it was 2024, where we could clearly see the rise in quick commerce. While quick commerce made things really, really easy for consumers, on the other side, for brands, things became very complex. Data being one of the critical drivers there. So I'll take a step back and tell you why quick commerce is a very different problem, and it's a very big problem for brands. So for a very long time, brands have been used to working with the traditional e-commerce platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, Nykaa, not just Indian brands. Entire West has been used to working with such models. Now with quick commerce, what happens is you now all of a sudden get introduced to a concept of dark store. So when dark stores things are very, very difficult to track. And at each pin code, certain pin codes, within one pin code, you have multiple dark stores. The supply chain systems are completely disrupted. It's completely different system of supplying to these people. New micro categories are being introduced. The consumer behavior is changing a lot. And now 10-minute delivery or a 15-minute delivery has become a basic consumer expectation. So we saw this trend and we saw a lot of problems which we could solve, and we could see that this is a hyper growth area. So that is how we came across
But
Dcluttr.
I'll probably take one step back here. I want to understand what exactly did you do during your days with Super Crew? When you say you help these brands grow, what exactly was your role in that? How did you help these brands grow? Was it just handling their marketing, handling their growth, or probably understanding and strategizing behind, hey, listen, this is our strategy moving forward. This is how we're going to go about this brand. So yeah.
Yes, Sangeet. So how we worked was, at that time, our complete motive was, when we were partnering with a brand, we used to have a very close consultation plus strategy plus execution role. And the whole idea was to make the brand grow. So we used
Okay.
to do whatever is required for that. So that started from solving problems, starting from inventory positioning
Good.
and demand forecasting till managing your last marketing dollar. So what should be the produce, where you need to put a particular inventory, what is the best channel for you to sell, then how you need to win on each channel, how you need to dominate your category in each channel, what are the growth levers. So if I name the growth levers which we identified across D2C brands at that time, Google ads and meta ads are definitely very, very high demand for D2C brands, meta ads especially, and for certain type of D2C brands, Google ads. So these were the two drivers at that time. And then in terms of marketplace, for a long time, Amazon and Flipkart had dominated that space. So those were two very important marketplaces. And then we saw the rise of quick commerce, and that is
Hmm.
why we came across this. So to sum it up, what we actually did was optimizing every step of growth so that they can maximize their revenue and like increase their top line month on month.
Very interesting. So you worked as growth consultant for a lot of these brands.
Yes.
And I'm understanding that a lot of these teams, they juggle with all of this scattered data. Yes, you transition from doing this with e-commerce to quick commerce. I mean, there's Shopify, Blinkit, Amazon, Meta ads, a bunch of this. Before Declutter, I'm guessing this was like a lot of manual entry, delayed insights, maybe. I don't know. So from your Super Crew days again, can you probably talk about how painful this problem was?
Yes. So I'll tell you the whole fundamental problem with marketing or performance enhancement with D2C spaces, that it's very reactive. When something goes down, you are already taking a hit on your revenue. Then the team gets in a RCA mode as to what the root cause of this particular problem is, and then look in data and find the reason. So this was one of the biggest problems we faced, that when you are adopting a reactive approach instead of a proactive approach, is that you are already taking a hit on your sales. So this is one biggest problem, and this problem stems out of data being scattered across a lot of places. So to give you very specific examples here, say your ad ROAS is basically return on ad spends. So
Mhm.
your ROI from ad is going down, and then you take action. Instead of, you get the early market signals as to your availability being low at a certain location, or your CPMs or CPCs going high. There are a lot of indicators before your sales take a hit. So act on those signals and indicators instead of acting when the sales has gone down. Then other problems is, even to detect the sale of each SKU across all the platform, it is a humongous job, because now Shopify, it's a completely different identifier, a completely different ID. On Amazon, it will be a different ID. It might be a different pack size. It might be a 200-gram package on Amazon. You might be selling a 500-gram package on your D2C site. When quick commerce comes into play, you might be selling a 50-gram package, because each channel has a ideal package size fit. So now all of this, mapping your data across all the channels, mapping your availability. Another very key problem which brands usually face even during our Super Crew day was, now say you are selling chips. You have 100 packets of chips and you have to provide it to, say, your D2C consumer. Now you have to provide it to your Amazon consumer. You have to provide it to, if you are selling on all the marketplaces, Amazon, Flipkart, those platforms. If you're a fashion brand, you have also have Myntra, Nike and all. So how do you prioritize where you should position this inventory? So this has to be data driven, instead of saying that this D2C is the only place I want to focus on. It could be a mix of where. So what combination of inventory positioning is going to work out the best for you. Yes.
Got it. Got it. And how is Decluttr sort of plugging this together? I understand. I mean, I'm guessing there's some sort of an AI involved here that unifies all of this scattered data into one dashboard, give maybe proactive alerts like your ROAS is dipped or inventory is below threshold, or, you know, probably recommend fixes, etc. What are these? What are the proactive versus, dashboards which are reactive? What is the difference? How does Decluttr come into the picture?
Great. So I'll tell you some of the use cases, how Dcluttr is helping. That will make a lot. So we are running for one of our partner brands, handling the kombuchas category. So now kombucha is, so for in that category, now there's a brand called Toyo and there's a brand called Kumbaya Kombucha. So these two brands, so brand A and brand B, for this discussion's sake, in Mumbai, if my competitors look at availability has gone low, I have that opportunity. Now this is going to come from a proactive alert wherein I need to run ads on the competitor keyword in this locality because the availability has gone down. Now, this is a very high ROI action for me. Those would include you get an alert, say you have decided that you take a 10-day time to fulfill an inventory at a particular warehouse. So you get an alert 15 days beforehand that in the next 15 days, this is going to be a potential sales loss for you because because based on data, how we're able to tell brands that is based on your average daily consumption rate and your growth rate. We factor in these two a few data points, and based on that, we tell them that you are going to be out of stock in this day, and this is the quantum of loss. Based on this, prioritize. So I guess this would be it. Other would include we tell them this keyword a competitor has launched an ad.
Hmm.
This is before you lose market share to that competitor, you get that alert at the start of the day that the ads has been launched. You can take actions preemptively. So yeah, these will be.
Interesting. And most of these happen on the fly. Your AI co-pilot of sorts sort of gives this indication much early on. You mentioned automation where the co-pilot sort of takes the action, etc. Is that how this happens?
Yes, yes. So, Sanket, how we envision the future of this space is going to be automation is inevitable, and
Okay.
how we want to create is a truly integrated operating system for digital first brands. So, all of this is automated. So, if you want to, if the availability goes down, your co-pilot will be taking care of where to launch ads, where not to launch ads. It will give you prompts. If it's set in autopilot mode, it will automatically launch the ads. So all of these things are very, very seamless. So it's actually autonomous and things are being handled the best way possible because machines do it like way better than humans can. So it handles these rules and logics, even it's at 3 a.m. in the night. Yes.
Got it. Um, just sort of understanding the market here and why probably you chose quick commerce to be the place. India's e-commerce is obviously exploding, already a $123 billion market, expected to be 400 billion. Quick commerce alone has added about 3.5 billion of GMV, growing massively, 65% CAGR, etc. Why was it that you chose quick commerce to be the place to start off with? And how does Decluttr then morph into, say, a larger market here?
Got it, Sangeet. So, correct. Our initial beachhead market is quick commerce, and there are a couple of reasons for that. First is quick commerce is in hyper growth. So, our CAGR is upwards of 60-70%. Whenever any market is in hyper growth, there are options and places to disrupt. So, for new players to get in, this is a very good place for in the entire e-commerce enablement space. The first is that it's in hyper growth. Second is the problem is very Indian. This is not a Western problem. And when a problem is it's not a Western problem, no Western SaaS is going to solve for you. No Western AI Copilot is going to solve this for you. So this has a very Indian flavor to it because of how the population dynamics is, because of how the labor cost is, and because how the the demand generation process entirely set up in India. So the second is that this is a very Indian problem. So good positions as well to solve this problem for India. And third is as a founding team, we were very well positioned to solve this problem because we are a tech enthusiasts solving problems through tech solutions truly is the exciting space, and like that keeps us motivated every day. Having detailed marketing experience, so we combine marketing and tech, and this is like what we could wish for to solve a problem like that. Speaking of the larger vision here is, yes, quick commerce is a good place to start. and the problem is very big and very, very complex. There are a lot of layers to this problem to solve for at each step. So for the next few months, we are focusing on quick commerce only. Now, this problem, when we talk about a truly integrated system and a truly autonomous co-pilot flavor to e-commerce growth, is you have to integrate to every sales channel. You have to integrate, you have to have a very solid system with Shopify. You have to have a very solid system set up with Amazon, Myntra, Nykaa, all those players. And this is a very big global opportunity. So if you look at quick commerce is, you can look at it as that it's a gift from us to the world, because now you can see tractions coming up in the Middle Eastern market. You have Noon Minutes coming up. You have Talabat quick commerce model being experimented and getting good traction there. Then similar experiments are going good in Southeast Asia. So yeah, so these are the pointers which like made us focus on quick commerce and then go to the larger vision of enabling e-commerce as a whole.
Interesting. And Satvik, here, just want to understand, take a slight pivot to understanding when you're saying that, there have been tools for, analysis of all of these things. Data pipelines could come in from all of these structured sort of tools. What gives Decluttr that wedge? For example, if I'm a brand, I could use a mix panel or a bunch of other automation tools, bunch of other data analysis tools that could give me an understanding overall that, this is what is there. And here is your your spend, and this is what the inventory is, so on and so forth. A bunch of these things that I can get. Where do you see a wedge for Decluttr? Why is it different? Why is it something that is going to be the next big thing for quick commerce? Because the growth is massive in quick commerce. How are you aiding in that process?
Got it. So I'll answer this in two bits. First
Okay.
is comparing with horizontal solutions like a Metabase or a Power BI, these data visualization tools. So these are not solving problems specific to e-commerce and specific to either e-commerce or quick commerce. So that is a very, very big problem. Because if you're talking about proactive systems, we're talking about intelligent systems, a horizontal solution can't solve for it. Because maybe a B2B lead gen company is also using Metabase because it's just a data visualization tool. So there are a lot of differences between us and a solution like a horizontal data visualization tool. They don't own the data. They don't give the data. It's not a completely managed service from end to end. You get the action inside. Now, coming to second bit is where the differentiator is one critical source of data for us, where we tell the brands the market trends. And this is very, very interesting for brands and high growth opportunity for brands, is we crawl and give them market insights as to what is happening in different categories. So we crawl all the public platforms like Blinkit, Instamart, Zepto. And based on the millions of data points we are processing every day, it's terabytes of data. So based on that, we are able to give them a lot of insightful action items, which is impossible for them. Not even with any horizontal solution or any data visualized solution, they don't have the access to that data. So quite often I tell like my team also and people I'm talking to, so we are a two-step forward solution. We are a big data company first, and then a vertical AI company. So data
Very
aspect
interesting.
is very, very critical to us.
Very interesting. And when I say that, I'd probably compare to, though, I'm guessing if brands are already listed on all of these quick com tools, all of the quick com platforms, they will have a primary level of data that the quick com tools already, or quick com brand, or quick com solutions already share with them, right? Which would be first party data, which would be direct understanding of your brand, etc. Where is the edge that Decluttr bringing in this regard?
Got it. So basically, this is getting all of that data at one place, and all that has value. That
Hmm.
is in value, but I would say that is just 10% of our value add. The majority of our value add is coming from telling them marketing trends. We are like Nielsen's for quick commerce. We know at each pin code which product is selling because of the amount of data we are processing because of our algorithms. So now I'll tell you some of the use cases our brands are using. We have clients who are not even listed on quick commerce today
Okay.
because they're doing so. There's a grocery brand starting up in Noida. Now they
Okay.
want trend as to in which pin code which type of fruit is being sold. Now at which pin code a dragon fruit is being sold, I know I can sell premium organic fruits and vegetables in these pin codes and localities. Now they can target their D2C advertisement or their own channel advertisement accordingly. This is a
Wow.
very,
Very
very
interesting. It's that nuanced.
yes. And now with every category, this is very, very interesting. So if we talk about, say, the snacks and munchies category. So in munchies category, the highest selling product is peanuts. So now brands are our partner brands who are in this category. So we're working with market leaders in this category. They're launching their entire category on this front, on like the entire portfolio of peanut products. to
Maybe
capture.
probably you can give some more examples here. You're already working with some very good brands. You're working with the Good Bug, Sepoy and Co, Zoo, Beanly, so on and so forth. What is the impact that they're seeing? I mean, I'm sure you're giving these examples. At what is the impact with respect to how proactive are they being with respect to data? How is it driving their top line, bottom line across? Would love to know that. And I mean, I'll come to the second question after this.
So again, like super stoked with the way we are working with brands and kind of insights we are getting and learning about quick commerce. So I'll say we take the example of Goodbug. So the
Okay.
Goodbug is the brand in the probiotic space, and they are doing pretty decently in terms of their scale and growth. So within 1 month of partnering with Dcluttr, they grew by more than 25% on quick commerce. So this is the kind of impact we are having with them. So if I deep dive how this was made
Mm,
possible, is if we tell them, so kombuchas, like I said earlier, now
mm,
kombuchas was not their focus on Instamart earlier.
okay.
But with these advanced insights, we were able to tell them that kombucha is in fact bigger than all their core categories on Instamart. So this
Okay.
is the market opportunity. And every day we know how much sale is going through, which competitor is doing what. Now kombuchas have been started selling in can forms. So which form factor is getting sold? What is the pack size? Is it pack of 3 or pack of 2? What price point? All of these insights. Now kombucha is one of the leading categories on Instamart. And similarly across, so I'll tell you some few other examples as to how we
Mm-hmm.
help bug grow is ad optimization. Now,
Okay.
ad optimization in terms of we tell them, because we have all the data, we know at which slot of the day is the product actually selling. So
Wow.
sellers don't have
Very
access to this
interesting.
data. We have access to, so we got to know 4:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. was the slot in which this category was moving the fastest. Ad budget was getting exhausted by 12 or 1 noon. Now, this was a big problem. They were not visible to the customers when the conversion rate is the highest.
Mm,
So we started running day-parted advertisements, which optimized their time of day for which they were visible to the customers. We have set up automation. So now these Copilot is doing automations for them and making them visible at the right time. And this is driving great ROI for them. And this goes on for, so every aspect has a lot of depth to it. We have launched a new AI keyword research agent for them. This is again the first AI keyword research agent in quick commerce industry in India. And it is analyzing a lot of images and based on that telling you this is a white space. So I'll tell you one quick example from Beanly.
mm,
Beanly is one of our other partner brands and they are selling in the coffee dip and chocolate dip space. So they have
okay.
coffees, chocolates, and all
Mm,
those
mm,
products.
mm,
So we found a white space for them by the name of churros.
okay.
Churros is being searched by around 15, 20,000 people every month. And there's not a single product listed by the name of churros on quick commerce. Churros is not there in quick commerce. But our image analysis told us they have a chocolate dip which looks similar to a churros.
Got
So
it.
this is an opportunity for them to capitalize on people searching for churros. So there are a lot of white space searches being done. So very interesting. Now, like, there are a lot of examples here on the keywords where you want to bid. So for the good bug, one other key example is they started running ads for a keyword called paid safa.
Okay.
So this was a suggestion from our AI keyword research agent. Before that, they were competing with very high new age D2C brands like Plix and Wellbeing Nutrition, the brands of
Mm,
these
mm,
brands.
mm.
Because Safa seemed very uncool and unintuitive for a new age brand to bid on. But they help with gut health and probiotics. So
Mm,
okay, it's
mm,
a
mm.
work out for them. So these are some of the insights. I have a lot of them. It'll take a lot of your time. But yes, this is
Very interesting. These are some very interesting. And any feedback that you've received from them in terms of what would they want to see? Are they stoked about these are some insights that we never knew and now we know and etc. So how is their feedback now adding into your product?
So the feedback for the initial version of the product is really, really great. Like is way better than we expected with the brands. And this is because for them, the revenue matters. And when they get incremental revenue, nothing is better than that. And by talking to these brands on a daily basis, so we have like, I have a detailed testimonial with the quick commerce head of the Good Buck. So we have posted that out also. We'll be putting out that interview. So we have talked in depth as to how at each step we have helped them grow from inventory visibility to purchase order management to ads, visibility, pricing, all those fronts. And in terms of talking to these brands, I've realized one thing that we've just scratched the surface. So today it's the most advanced solution for quick commerce in India. But the fact is the most advanced solution is also just scratching the surface. There are a lot of problems to be solved, a lot of growth opportunities there. So yes, talking to these brands gives us a lot of motivation to build deeper and solve problems impactfully for them.
Got it. No, very interesting. And sorry, and how does success look like for you for Declutter? What is the larger vision? What is it that you're looking to achieve in the next 5 years? How does this shape up? Is it an India specific thing? I'm guessing this could be taken global, but I'm sure there are nuanced approaches to that with respect to regional markets, etc. So how do you see Declutter becoming really big here?
Yes, Sangeet. So initial focus is for on India for the next few months, but this is a clearly multi-billion dollar global opportunity. So, and beauty of e-commerce, the beauty of vertical SaaS, it can be scaled across the globe, and that is the plan. But it has, as you rightly mentioned, it has to be nuanced, and it has to. So our core belief is to solving problems very deep.
Okay.
Don't scratch the surface, because when you get that kind of customer love, your expansion and customer retention, all of those things will align automatically. So success from 5 years from now for Declutter would look like, which is part of a mission statement, is that it's truly integrated operating system for brands selling online. And everything is handled in a truly automated manner so that the POC or the key account manager, so what 20-25 people teams are doing today, could be easily achieved by a 5-6 people team. And this is the level of efficiency we want to unlock. And others can focus more on the growth related and the exponential market expansion, other functions of the company, instead of investing their time towards growth or handling e-commerce channels.
Got it. Got it. And when you say that, do you see yourself more as a SaaS analytics company or, an AI sort of workflows, AI first co-pilot of sorts, working across all growth workflows? How do you see yourself there?
So we see ourselves a big data plus a vertical AI company. So I wouldn't skip the word data in our definition. That is very, very critical to what we are building here.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And is there a target number of brands that you'd want to sort of, scale up to? Would that be an approach, or would it be diving deeper into the existing sort of workflows of these brands? So you're going to take a horizontal first approach with respect to getting more brands, or getting deeper with respect to work?
So right now, our thought process is, if we are getting deeper, and onboarding will automatically be sorted. So we have the capacity, and we are building those capacities even further to onboard as many brands as we can. So today there are around 4,000, 5,000 brands on quick commerce. So at least a couple of thousand from quick commerce should definitely be on Declutter within a 1.5 to 2 year timeline. Then just building vertically is the core focus, and I think the things would follow and get in place.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Sadek, I'll cut to the last section of the of this conversation. One, obviously, I want to understand. You started off as a student founder. You also got admitted to ISB, and you chose to continue to sort of build on your company. You started another company before this, which is Super Crew, where you were working with them, etc. What are some of the challenges that you faced across in your journey? What would you recommend? A lot of these student founders will be looking up to you, with respect to, hey, I probably want to be a founder someday or today, etc. How do I go about it? What are these challenges? What are your suggestions for them? Would love to know that.
Cool. I'll tell. So there are a lot of challenges with being a student founder, and I guess that is same goes for being a founder. But yes, there's some which is like very intrinsic to being a student founder. Especially, I'll tell the problems from a B2B SaaS point of view, because that is my experience. So in a B2B SaaS, when you're building any B2B business as a student founder, you don't have contacts. And contact plays a lot of roles in acquiring and building a solid business. So you'll have to work extra hard to get to and pitch to the right people, because just having the best product is not enough. Distribution is very, very key. So I guess the first and the most important challenge would be that. And some of the things we learned the hard way through Super Crew is every function of the company has a learning curve.
Hmm.
So, and being a student founder, since you haven't worked with any big business very closely for a very long period of time, so that you realize and understand these problems firsthand, you will have to learn very fast on the job. That is one thing. Like, I would say this is the second most important learning. I wouldn't say this is a challenge, but you have to learn very fast on the job.
Got
So
it.
these would be the challenges, I would say. Yes.
So I think connects is one for sure. Glad that
you're with us now at Campus Fun.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think we'll add value to being able to connect you to folks to shop. And the other you're saying is that the ability to quickly learn on the go. I'll probably take one step back here. A lot of student founders would still be sort of figuring out where to start, how to start. How did you come about? I mean, you moved from a tech job to Super Crew while you were still parallelly running Super Crew across during your university days to finally coming to say an idea of or starting out with Declutter. What was that journey like? So, what are some key things that you should be looking out to as a student founder or as a founder in general? Where I mean, what do you build? How do you build? How do you find conviction around that? I just want to understand that -1 to 0 journey before you started off with what you started off.
So I would say broadly, I have two things which worked out for me and like part of my core belief is first thing is don't wait for like the stars to align. Don't wait for the like perfect idea to hit you. You there should be a heavy bias for action. This might not seem like a very new thing, but this is like very, very critical. So the first thing is get in action. There should be a heavy bias for action. You don't have to wait for the perfect problem or the perfect solution to hit you. That is one. Second would be, so I'm a great subscriber to Paul Graham's theory of doing things which don't scale. So it's a very beautiful statement, very beautiful read also. So you early on how techies specifically think is that we need to build a product which is very cool. Think about scalability even before solving the problem. So that should come second. Go with a service based approach. The idea should be to solve the problem. However,
Got it.
because once you solve problem with enough impact and people are ready to pay you, you will find ways to productize things and scale
It's a
things.
very nice suggestion. I think, and also, I mean, just to draw some parallels, I think most of our founders are Paul Graham's fans. I was just doing this with Antariksh as well. He also had quoted something very, very similar. But this is a very good advice. So you're saying that for founders who right now there, if you figure out a problem, try to solve it, services sort of a manner, you'll figure out a way to scale if people are ready to pay money for your solution. Very interesting. Got it. And that sort of that aligns with your journey as well as to how Supercrow led into Declutter. Very interesting. Satik, so on that note, I think this was great. Good to hear in terms of where Declutter is going. Thanks for joining us. I think it's a great example of why even we back student founders tackling both problems early, speed, conviction, and yeah, and that's where I'd sort of like to end this for anyone who's listening and who wants to learn more. Check out Declutter. Do check out what they're doing, and please stay tuned for more student founder series as we do this. So yeah, thank you, Satvik. Thank you so much.